Hey there guys, hope you're doing well. Roop here. Today we've got a Justice League review. I like the movie as a whole, but we're going to get into that later. Hope you enjoy the credits. Flash intro. Welcome back. So, Joss Whedon versus Zack Snyder. With the film being obviously a release from Zack Snyder's tonality and his style of filming, there's a crossover between Joss Whedon taking over and Zack Snyder. So I just want to talk about the cuts to the film. If there's obvious cuts and if there's obvious tonal differences within the movie. So in terms of colours in the film, so basically costume design colours, filters on cameras, lighting, warm feels in the film, that kind of thing. From one director to another, there is a difference. I think that it's edited quite well, so I wouldn't say it's a big thing that you'll notice, but if you're looking for it, you will notice obvious differences in the film from one point to another. Zack Snyder obviously goes for a darker take to the DC universe, and that you will feel as a difference to Joss Whedon's. Almost by mistake, it might actually feel like a blessing in disguise that there's a difference in tonality, difference in colour, in warmth and feel to the picture. Because I think when you watch this, you'll realise that they want to take Justice League in a different direction to the direction that they had in the past, with the characters, the idea of where their personalities lie within the picture, and the way that the characters have evolved over the time, through the films that we've already seen. So maybe it's a blessing that we have a colour difference, a tonal shift, but let you decide that. That might grate on you, but like I say, as long as you're not only looking for that and you just enjoy the film as a whole, I don't think you'll pick up on that too much. Hopefully it'll feel like it's not been shoehorned in. It'll feel like a smooth transition for the characters, and I'm going to segue from that onto the pacing, because if you want a smooth transition, you want it to be paced well. So is the film paced well? No, the film is not paced well. There is pacing issues in terms of story and time that you get as a viewer to take that in. So I just don't think they've got enough time in the picture, with all the segments that they've tried to put in the picture just to make the film feel grand. Those action sequences, those big moments in the movie, which you want from a superhero film, because it's meant to feel grandiose, meant to feel big, everything's big scale. Sometimes you need slow moments in movies. You need time from one situation to the next, and this movie hasn't got time to give you that time. Surely because I think, from what I understand, Warner Brothers wanted the film to be no longer than around about the 2-hour mark. So obvious cuts and changes are obvious that have been made, just to keep that run time to that 2-hour mark. In terms of marketing, I should imagine it's hard to market a film for longer than 2 hours. But sometimes the movie can be poorer for that. I don't know how I feel about it for Justice League. I think that the film is slightly the poorer for not giving the audience the break that it needs, the character breaks that you need in a story to tell a well-rounded story. So you don't just feel like it's action, 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 100%, and then it's done. There is an introduction early on in the movie to all the characters, which is I'm sure the audience is very grateful for, because if you've not watched Batman vs Superman, or you don't know anything about these characters and you're just jumping into the franchise, it's nice that they gave a little bow to the new characters that are going to be shown in the film, and they have a little moment for each character, which is nice. I think that I said in my warm-up for this that I would have liked to have seen a movie out for each of the characters before they did this huge film. But obviously, timing is would have probably made that very difficult. So they have done their best to incorporate all the characters into the film smoothly, and I think they did it quite well, to be fair to them, for the time, like I say, that they had in the movie, and still getting you to the place where they needed you to be by the end of the film. I think they did quite well with the whole thing. Yeah, so I do feel it's a little bit rushed, but you know, sometimes sacrifices have to be made to make a film. That's just the reality of films. In terms of character interaction between all the characters, and just a narration as you're watching the film, there is great chemistry between all the characters. The Flash in particular, I think anybody neutral will love. It's nice to see his interactions between the serious characters in the film, and how he brings a lighter side out of serious characters. For tonality within interaction, you'll feel like the Flash brings a lot of humour, and you'll feel that the tone of the movie is a lot lighter than previous DC films. And you know, if you're a fan of the dark and serious DC films, you might not be a fan of this one, because even though the Justice League is going to be a separate entity from the other films, there will be a shift in terms of what you have to get used to, with humour, and the way that the characters come across in the film, from previous DC movies. The CGI in the film, so there is a main baddie, as you would expect, and he is pretty much, well, I think he's complete CGI. That's for you to decide if that's makes a poorer film. I quite like practical effects. I quite like, you know, practical acting, real acting. I don't so much like CGI, but when it's done well, and if it's in moderation, I think it's fine, and it gives the film something that you couldn't get from practical effects, I think anyway. But when it's done in moderation. But the main bad guy is all CGI, and that I did notice that a little bit when I was watching the film, just because I think I'm a bit of a practical effects snob. But that's up for you guys as interpretation. That's for you to say whether you liked it or didn't like it. The costume designs are great. I like the way that they did the differences for all the characters. I was worried that Aquaman's suit might be too dark. If you look at the comics to the movie, Wonder Woman's costume I was worried about. just because they can't make it exactly like the comics that you watch, just because you don't want to feel like a little kid watching a movie. You want to feel like you can enjoy the film and not worry about the costumes. But in the comics, the vibrant colours, the colour differences between the costumes help tell a story about the character and tell you what that character is going to be like at a glance. And the costumes all very much look tonally the same colours, dulled down colours, very much structured the same, like bodysuits, body armour. So if you're a makeup artist, or you like costume design, tell us what you think in the comments. Tell us how you feel about the designs, the colours that they've used, and the fits of the costumes. If you like the way that they're shaped, if you like the way that they're cut, tell us and let us know if you think they could have done it better, or you'd have liked to have seen something slightly different or closer to the comics. In terms of the story, I thought it was good as a whole. It's what we've been crying out for. Story that makes sense, story that's engaging. I liked what they did with the story. There's certain scenes that grated on me a little bit. Just because they felt like they were just to show the capabilities of certain characters rather than adding anything to the movie, I thought anyway. And I thought that the scenes in the film that tried to give you a shaping of the world at the time, and I just didn't quite like how that was delivered. I thought it could have been done better. But again, let me know what you thought. Comment below once you've seen the film. I hope that you'll come and see my review and write me a little essay about what you thought about the film. The length of the story, moving through the film, I didn't think, like I say before, I didn't think they had long enough to tell the story that they really wanted to tell. And we probably have to wait to see the DVD cuts to really see how much time they took out, how much editing they had to actually put through the picture, and see what bits were missed out, what bits was chopped. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that. Maybe we'll get a Zack Snyder cut. The feel of the film as a whole, I felt at the end of the film positive about the franchise and positive about the characters, and I think that's all we really wanted from this film. Wanted a good action film that hit the right feels, that hit the right spots for characters, and gave us a good story. I think they delivered that, and I'm really impressed, and I didn't think I would be impressed, just because of superheroes movies in general as having a track record. They're really hit and miss, but I thought this was a big hit. I think anybody jumping into the franchise will understand the way that they started this film and understand the way that they've left the film for future DC films and future character movies. And I think you'll really enjoy watching the film as a whole. The all-around impression of the movie that I got was, I think I will buy the film, and I think I would definitely go and see it at the cinema again. and I felt really positive about the film. So I hope that you have that impression as well and you really enjoy the film. And like I say, leave comments, tell us what you thought about it yourself. Give people feedback, and hopefully we can have a little community started. I'd love for you to all comment on this video and comment on past videos that I've done, and hopefully people will learn things about the film, about the TV shows that I couldn't mention. Thank you for watching this video again, and please like, subscribe, do all the boring stuff. Really helps me out and helps grow the channel so that I can keep banging these videos out for all of you. Thank you very much for watching.